Well, Dave, it doesn't get much more dramatic than that, does it? Back to a replay at Edgeley Park, and that's probably the least you deserve, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think, especially in our second half performance. I think the first half, sometimes scoring early can be the worst thing that happens, because from a player's perspective, you potentially come a little bit safe. I thought from the goal onwards, really, we showed a little bit of, I suppose, lack of belief. Wanted to play backwards, didn't want to really go in and win the game in that moment, and ultimately ended up costing ourselves in the manner of the goals we conceded. We managed to get in at half time and have a chat around what we needed to do. Substitutions made a big difference, but I think the intensity that we played at got our just desserts in the back end of the game, because we tested, like I say, a League One club physically, and showed more belief, more quality, more endeavour in the second half to go and get the equalising goal. And like I say, for it to come as late as it did in the manner it did is obviously pleasing, to score from 2 set pieces. But I think on the sort of sway of the game, if you like, we had plenty of opportunities, and probably were deserving of getting that equaliser before the 96th or 7th minute, whatever it was.
Talk us through the emotions when that goal does go in. I mean, I was speaking to Dave Conlon, it probably did come at a time just when it maybe started to feel like it might not happen. How did you react to it?
Yeah, listen, it's obviously hugely pleasing. Very, very similar in a different way, I suppose. A little bit of deja vu around what happened last year. You come to a League One club away from home with a brilliant following, and you draw 2-2, and you take back for a replay, and all those things. So the big thing for me was you can then go in a dressing room and I suppose address the players, talk to the players in a constructive way, because I think if we'd not so much got something from the game, if we'd not got a replay from the game, I think there'd been some regret in terms of what we did, because we showed a little bit of trepidation in the first half. Listen, we made changes. Lads who are ill, some are injured, which meant we were pretty sort of limited in what we can do. Joe Lewis has got a whack on the foot and potentially could have come off. Hussey's had to come off with a tweak of his groin. So some of the changes were almost made for us in terms of what we had to do, but I think the lads who came on, and when we changed our shape, we remained really, really positive, and like I say, we're thoroughly deserving of getting that goal.
For it to come in front of those travelling away fans as well, I mean, there's a real strike on at the minute, but still just around about 1,000 county fans there today, and they made it like a home game at times today.
Yeah. I say, in terms of this competition, and understandably at the time of the year, it's difficult for people. Hence, even with the Charlton supporters, not a huge amount of them when you look at the size of the ground, the support they have. But for all that, like I say, to travel the distances they have with a rail strike, even when there wasn't a rail strike, we were on the train yesterday and we stood up virtually most of the way here. So it was difficult to get here. They've paid the money. Charlton have done great in the fact that they made it, I think, a tenner to get in, which is brilliant. And for us to then score at that end and send them home on that long journey home happy and looking forward to what Monday potentially brings is hugely pleasing. We can all, like I say, sit back now. We've got a week between this fixture and our next fixture. Focus will turn quickly to what is a massive league game for us at Hartlepool, but then we look forward to what the replay brings and potentially what the draw brings.
Important to point out as well, this was a strong Charlton side today as well, just 2 changes from the last league game, one of them enforced, but it's another occasion you've gone up against a League One team and been more than a match for them, and that must give you a lot to take back into the league campaign. Yeah,
that was the biggest motivation for me. I think today posed lots of questions, not just questions of us 11 v 11 if you like against the League One team, but more individual questions of players and then being able to show that they can compete at this level, and you need to be able to do that on a consistent basis. In order to do that, you've got to believe in yourself, you've got to back yourself. I don't think we did that enough in the first half. We lost them individual moments, sort of 1v1s, players going past us, weren't aggressive enough in how we went about that, but credit to them, they took on board what we said to them at half time, and second half was a different story, and it is the aim for us all, staff included, is to be consistent performers in League One initially, or League Two, to be able to get us into a competing position, but ultimately go forward with the club and have continuity within the group to enable us to do that. And we've shown glimpses today that we can do it. I think there's loads more to come from us.
Another goal for Chris Hussey. I asked you after the Newport game if he meant that one. It's similar today in many ways, but I suppose if you whipping the ball in at that pace, in that trajectory, it's going to cause issues for goalkeepers.
Yeah, I didn't know it was Huss, and I didn't know whether Woods had got a touch. We looked to work a corner, and within that corner there was options, and if we didn't feel the first option was on, the second option was to be aiming on target, and it's a great ball in, whether it gets a touch or not, and well worked. And from our side, as a coaching perspective, that's massively pleasing. We can take less credit for the second one, because that more or less all hands on deck, stick it in there, and hopefully get a little bit of luck, and we've done that. So it's a huge part of the game, especially in the league that we play in, and to get 2 from corners today and set us up for a replay is, like I say, is really pleasing and rewarding for the work everyone does.
As you say, back to Edgeley Park now, and I suppose all thoughts will turn to that Bolton game a year ago and hoping for another similar night like that.
Yeah, listen, we've been probably very fortunate since I feel very fortunate in the time I've been here, that there's been some really memorable occasions at Edgeley Park in just over a year. So they'll, like I say, memories that serve you for a lifetime, and hopefully we can make another special one. I suppose they'll be similar to last year. There'll be the carrot of knowing what the next round brings. But we, again, as good as we've been today and pushed Charlton all the way, we know we're going to have to be as good, if not better, in the replay in order to get ourselves into that next round, if you like. But we're looking forward to it. Like I say, it's a big opportunity. Without question, I'm sure Edgeley will be absolutely packed to the rafters, and we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Well, the draw is on Monday night. I know there's a fair few Liverpool fans amongst the coaching staff. Is there a particular name you'd like to see come out of the hat?
I think we're all greedy, aren't we? Or we're all sort of. It's almost a little bit like the National Lottery. You get to this point, and you think you're going to get this big draw. I've been there lots of times, you never really had that big draw. So you wait and see. It's a random draw. Anything can happen. We showed with it in this round in terms of what we got. I think we'd all love to get one of the big boys. From a player's perspective, probably away from home. From a coach's perspective, that would be a challenge and maybe a tough watch at sometimes. But you want to put your wits against the best, and this competition allows you, or gives you the opportunity to potentially do that. So we'll be one of a number of teams from League 2, League 1, the National League, that will be looking at that draw, hoping to get a big tie, and fingers crossed we can.
On to Hartlepool next week, a return to your former side. What are your emotions heading into that one? Because it's another big game. Yeah,
it's a massive game. Emotions at the moment are focused on this game. Like I say, in terms of going back there, I a brilliant time, and regardless of what reaction there's been from me moving away from there, that'll never change my thoughts on it. I had an amazing group of staff, an amazing group of players that achieved something that was really amazing, and no one will be able to take that away from us. I hope that more than anything they get out of the predicament that they're in, but ultimately not the consequence of us. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it in terms of going there, looking to win. Reception that I get, I'm sure it'll be mixed, and I completely understand why that is. But like I say, my job is to make sure we go there, do the best we can, and pick up 3 points, which makes our second 10-game sort of section of fixtures, if you like, a pretty fruitful one. So we'll be doing everything we can to make sure that happens.
Well done today, Dave.